Why, hello and welcome. John Croner with Bullseye Trader, and I'd like to welcome you to the market update for May 2020. First of all, I want to apologize for such a great length of time in between videos. I've got several other businesses, and unfortunately, with this COVID-19 coronavirus thing going on, the other businesses have taken a lot of my time, and I have not been able to devote time to this like I would like to. And I'd also like to focus this video more on what are you going to do with your stimulus check. And if you're watching this is probably more for you to talk to your friends and other people about, because with everything going on and the terrific pullback we had, the recession, the feds have done an awful lot to stimulate the economy. They've given everybody a $1,200 stimulus check. People that are laid off are getting $600 additional every week with their unemployment. They're even talking about paying people $450 a week if they go back to work. People that had 1099s that weren't eligible for unemployment are now able to collect unemployment plus that $600 a week. So there's an awful lot of money out there. The statistics are that there have been more people open brokerage accounts lately than ever in history. And there's a lot more people that have jumped into the stock market. So now is the perfect time. I am going to be 62 in just a little over 2 weeks. I've only been trading stocks for the last 4 years. I've been using this Trade Idea software from the beginning, and I think it's a big help, which I will show you after we do the market update. But I just think that stock trading is good for everybody, whether you want to be an investor, you want to be a day trader, a swing trader. You can trade a little bit or a lot, but I've never seen anything where you can get the returns like you can in this particular business. So I encourage everybody to master your skill, to decide what type of trader you're going to be, perfect your craft, get better and better at it, and make money, build, for the future. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the update. And first thing we're going to do is take a look at the Qs. And you can see here I have 4 charts. This is the Trade Idea software you are looking at. This is a 15-minute chart, the daily chart, weekly chart, and this is the monthly chart. And you can see the Qs have closed at the high, and this is a monthly close high, okay? Back here we had a higher weekly close by just a little bit, but this is the highest monthly close. So that is doing very good. You can see here on the volume, it was a fairly decent volume. It appears to be about average. So the Qs are continuing to lead the way. We have those 5 stocks that are doing most of it. Your Facebooks, your Amazon, your Google, your Apple, your Netflix, and now they're actually saying that Microsoft should be in there. They've renamed the FANG stocks to, I think it's now the FANGM, the FAANGM type deal. So let's go ahead, and what we can do here, just to show you how this works, send to symbol list, and we would go down here and we would find FANG, and I'm going to have to rename it, and that will eventually show up here once it gets refreshed. So that's how you would add it to your list. Now let's go to the diamonds and see how the diamonds fared. Once again, you can see second month in a row where we have closed positive, looking very good, but we still have some work to go. We are approaching I believe this is the 20 moving average, so we've gone up, just about kissed it. So hopefully we can gather the strength to get through it. And on the spiders, we'll take a look there, and pretty much the same picture. A little stronger because we are above that 20. We're above the 200. You can put the moving averages of your choice on here so that it functions very, very nice. Now, I had been tracking the Holly trades every day, keeping stats on that, and unfortunately that was one thing that I have not been able to continue to do. But I want to show you a few trades that I've done using the software and how I do it. And what I do is I build a list. I take it, I search all the Holly trades from the past week. I have a list of stocks that I watch. I've put into a buy list, and any of those that have triggered with extreme volume, I take those stocks from the week. I also have a scanner that's called the Extreme Master Blaster. Once again, it has to do with a lot of volume. I go in here to my symbol list and I add them to this Holly, and I just have it named, and I put them all in here. Now for today, I have just a few stocks in there, and I'm going to show you some of the metrics that I use because I'll put them in there, and I'll have between 300 and 600 stocks in there. And then I do a sorting. First of all, we have a stock score here that kind of judges the stock based on the technicals of the chart and based on the fundamentals, and it scores it. So first thing I do is I go through and I'll sort it by that, and I'll just highlight anything that has a 60 or over, and then I'll replace that list with those. I'll let this refresh, and then I'll sort by revenue, and I will make sure that there's a revenue, because people, when they're trading, a lot of people have different objectives, and as I've said earlier, I'm tied up with some of my other businesses, and I do not have the time to look at the charts throughout the day. So I try to do a scan every night. I with the software, I can set price alerts, so I kind of track a few things to see anything I'm aware of. But at the end of the week, I'll do this analysis, and I'll come up with stocks, and then on Monday morning I'll buy them. Now what I've been doing the past couple weeks is I'm trying to go in and actually buy them before the market opens, because we've been getting those big gaps early, and then it doesn't seem to do too much more, at least for that day. So it's making it hard. A lot is happening in the pre-market and the aftermarket, and not so much during the trading. So once again, I'm not recommending anything to you. I think you have to do your own analysis. But for me, what I want to do is I want to buy stocks that I feel are strong fundamentally and also are looking good from a technical point of view. And once again, I'll show you a few of them and the results I've had. And the other thing is, everybody has a different, profit loss objective, or I should say, how much you can risk on each trade. And you'll see when I get into it, some of these trades I've been doing, I'm buying 1 share and 2 share. I'm trying to do like $100 to $200 per trade as I perfect my strategies here, with the goal being to increase them later. But you have to remember, 10% and 20% and 30% and 100% is still that percentage. So if you're buying $100 worth of stock and it goes up 50%, that's $50. Well, and you can just multiply that. If you can get good at doing that on $100, well, then you can eventually do $200 and $500 and $1,000, and I think you can see what can happen from there. So going back to my analysis, then I make sure that the company has some type of revenue. Then I make sure it has some type of assets. I make sure that the cash to debt is looking good. And typically in the different times I've gone through different levels. But now I'm trying to use, since this COVID hit, a 1.5 ratio. In other words, 1.5 times more cash on hand than they have current debt. And and you have to be careful, because if there's no debt, that number will be skewed, so you have to add those back in. And you can see here I only have one that, well, I have two that's underneath the 1.5, but I used to use the 0.75 with that. I also make sure that the quarterly growth, is in the positive. I've also recently starting to look to see if some is held by institutions and some is being held by insiders, because it just seems to me that that's a good thing also. So I go through these and I slowly eliminate all the ones that I don't feel meet those objectives. So I try to find stocks that are strong and all that, because I feel if I buy them, my idea is I don't intend to sell them or put a stop loss on them. A lot of people use stop losses. I figure I'm going to buy them, and if anything, if they go down, I'm going to buy more. If they go down, and unless something happens. Now, I want to bring my Thinkorswim into this because I use that for most of my trading. I also have an international broker's account that is linked to the software, and I've just started using that. I have a little bit of money in there. I do have 4 stocks that I have purchased and I'm trading in there, and I've got some more money that should show up in there on Monday, because it takes it a couple days. But let me go through some of these trades with you that I've found using this system. And once again, every week I kind of adjust it a little bit. So let's go alphabetically. Let's start with this ADUS. Once again, it met my other criteria, and you can see here that I bought a whopping 1 share, and this was just on May the 18th for $87.78, and that's when it became on my radar, so I went ahead and bought it. And you can see here, today is May the 30th, so 12 days later, it's at $98. Now, we can take, let's see, we have 98.86 minus 87.78. I think I did something wrong there. So, well, anyhow, we have, let's call it $12 divided by $87. We're already up 14% in that particular trade. So that is a pretty good one. You can see I do have a sell in for it if it does go up higher. I know a lot of people say, well, I want to wait till it breaks a gap or hits a certain level. Well, if you do that, a lot of times you're taking more risk, because you could have been in that stock for that period of time. But once again, these are philosophies and trading strategies that people have to develop for themselves. But you can see so far I'm doing very well on that one. Now this ENPH, I've actually been in and out of this one a couple of times, but this latest trade I took way back here on April the 8th, and you can see this stock actually went as high as $70, and probably what I should have done and what I've started doing now is, because a lot of people think the market's going to pull back, a lot think it's going to keep on going. So what I'm doing now on a lot of them is, and once again, depending upon the stock, if it's one I want to hold long term, I'm probably not going to put a sell, and probably what I would do is, buy more. In fact, I could possibly buy more here because I think it's going to go back up. In fact, I think that's a good idea. So, I'm going to go ahead as we're talking here, and I'm just going to edit that down because once again, I'm just doing a little bit, but I'm going to add 3 shares to it, which once again, for most traders wouldn't be too much, but we're just going to go ahead and put that order in so that we'll hopefully pick up 3 more shares, and you'll ride that up. And you know what, if we're going to do that, we're going to take that sell off of there. So that's that one there. NEM is another one that's been doing good. And you can see here, I got in this one, where are we at here? Way back here, and this was on January the 29th for $44.24. And I did sell, I bought 6 shares. I sold 4 at $62.95. And you can see here it pulled back, and then it went up again to 69, and I held, but then we had this pullback. But because I had sold some, I felt comfortable doing that. Now, who knows? And I believe this is a gold stock, so Newmont Mining. And so it may go up or down from here, but I made some money on the 4 shares, but you can see once again I got in it. And you can also see that we had a pretty good sized pullback. I was down $11 at one point, but instead of getting scared and selling it, because if I would have sold here, then I probably would have bought back here and maybe sold there. So once again, you have your strategies and your philosophies, and you have to fine tune that. Now, let's take a look at this one. I'm really, I was going to say I'm kind of proud of this one, but sorry, I hold this one in another account. I have my IRA account linked here, and I also have a personal account through this Thinkorswim. But I bought this one on May the 15th at $39, and I sold it all at $49. Now it has gone up since then. Just looking at the chart, I would have thought it would have continued up, but on the other hand, I was like $10 on a $40 stock was 25%. I took my money and I was happy. I mean, if you can take a profit, that's always a good thing. So never feel bad if you in a stock and you sell it, you made good money, and it keeps going, because it just as easily could have gone the other way. Now let's take a look at this Vertex. This is another one that is looking good, and you can see here I bought once again 1 share back on January the 21st at $235. It pulled back all the way to $198, $197, and now look at it. It's gone as high as $295, and it's at $287, and I'm still holding. So I'm up almost $60. That's 33%. So now I could be happy and sell it there, but I think it's got a lot more to go. So I'm going to go ahead and hold out on that. Another one of my philosophies is you never know, and quite frankly, I've got a bunch of other stocks. In fact, I think I have about 100 stocks now that I hold between my different accounts. And so they're obviously not all doing this good, but my philosophy is if I'm in more stocks, I have a better chance of being in the one that runs. So, once again, everybody can have their own philosophy, but you can see, how, if you can hold through that, if it's a strong stock, it's going to come back. Now, ZNGA is another one. Let's take a look at that. In this one here, I bought 25 shares, and it looks like that was on May the 15th also at $8.11. Well, if you look at it, it went way up to $8.51, and then it tried to fake everybody out, came to $7.65. Now, a lot of people would have been like, hey, it's up here. I'm going to put my stop at $8.11 where I'm in so I don't lose any money. Well, look at what you would have lost, and that stock is screaming right now. So, it may go higher. Now, I do have a sell in here. If it goes up to $10.50, I'm going to go ahead and get out of it and be happy, because, stocks that go up fast, sometimes they'll come back and retest. So, I don't want to be stuck there holding the bag on it if that happens. There's just some examples on how I use the software, and then how I use it to trade. But the software is fantastic. We have yearly plans. We have monthly plans. Here's a link right here. You just go to this, and it is case sensitive. The Bitly, /TI pricing, and then the number 1. And when you click that, it's going to pop up a thing that if you put your email in, you can save 15% if you try it. So, we have standard plans, we have yearly plans, we have monthly, yearly. So we have all kind of different things. Give it a try. Talk to your friends and family members. Anybody who is not currently in the stock market needs to consider it for a variety of reasons. If they're young, if they're old, but do it conservatively. Do some learning. Get yourself educated before you jump in head first. And hey, it was great talking to you today. Thank you.